If you will, come on and turn with me again to Psalm 46, verse 10. Psalm 46, verse 10, this month of our pursuit of being still, pursuit of stillness, finding rest, peace and comfort, calmness in a chaotic world. The sons of Korah, they put together this melody, this song, S-O-N-G, and they're singing this song in order to continue to recite it because it was their truth. They put the words to a melody, a tune, and they continue to sing this song over and over again of the chaos in the world, but the calmness in God. And so we find these voices being raised together. And they get to a place that we talked about last week called Selah. Selah is not to be read out loud, it's just a musical symbol of pausing, being still. This Hebrew word Selah comes from the root word Selah, which means to us, Selah means loud noise, high praise. But out of the root word of loud noise, high praise, comes this word called Selah that you see in the song. And it means while they're in the midst of high praise and loud instruments, find your place of solitude in God. Find your solitude and pause. No matter how many people are pushing you because they need for you to be somewhere that God has not yet assigned you. Don't let their emergency make you disobedient and impatient. And so we put together this song in Psalms. Verse 10 says, "Be still and know." Be still and know that I am God. You may be seated. Be still and know that I am God. I honor God for the musical gifts of our musicians and our singers today, for reminding us to submit all to God. I want to come and simply talk from the subject of what I've just given you, be still and know. Be still and know. Today, Jesus invites us to his words in Matthew 28 verse of chapter 11. Jesus invites us, he says, "Come unto me, all ye who labor and are heavy burden or laden, and I will give you rest." He says, "Take my yoke upon you and then learn of me. For I am meek," Pastor Jamie, "and lowly in heart." Jesus then says, "You shall find rest for your souls." The word souls in our context means the mind, the soul of the heart of thinking, the will, decision-making, the place of both consciousness and subconsciousness. When you're thinking, you're still thinking. And when you're not thinking, you're still thinking. Jesus invites us because he recognizes the chaos and the disruptions of our day and our life. that he invites us to say, "Come unto me, all ye who labor, who are working, who are trying to get through their day." And he says, "I will give you rest." But before he says, "I will give you rest," he says, "Come to me and then learn." There is no growth, there is no calmness, there is no stillness without knowing him. While I am applauding you and thanking you for your church attendance today, even if you're watching virtually, growth doesn't come by simply viewing. Growth comes by knowing. Knowing him. Not simply religious traditions, not simply notions of what mama or grandma taught you or grandfather or daddy, but actually knowing him. Can I simply say in this moment that there is nothing like knowing him? Knowing where he is, knowing that he is constantly listening and watching over us, knowing that all of our sorrows that he really does care about, and all of our trials he is a part of. I'm not sure who told you what and what they told you. Perhaps you don't believe in a God that you can't see. But until you get to know him, until you walk with him in a relationship by faith, not by sight, he then will let you know that he's real. He's just as real as the air you breathe. He's just as real as the wind you cannot see, but feel across your brow. He's just as real as you see no strings attached to the sun, but yet it sets and falls every day. He is as true as you see the stars, the Little Dipper and the Big Dipper, Orion's belt, without any strings attached to it, holding them in their sockets. He's just as real as a heart you have not yet seen, but yet beats within your body every day of your life. He is just as real as a love you say you have, but before there is a manifestation, there is a decision to love. I submit to you today, God is real, whether you see him physically or not, because it's based upon your faith, because he's a spirit and not flesh and blood. That ought to make you feel joyful, jubilant, because if he is not cloaked in limited flesh, that means that he has all power and there is no limitations to his omnipotence, his omnipresence, and his power. I'm coming. And knowing that God requires of us, first of all, a relationship that is based upon our spirituality and not a religion. But you do need religion to support your decision of spirituality. Religion is simply a form of habits that you use to support your decision to walk with God in good times and in bad times. Notice my inflections are limited because I really want you to listen. I want you to understand the power of stillness. I want you not to simply think God needs us to shout and to be noisy and to raise our voices, to be a God of radiant power and presence. I want you to feel him even when you are in your comatose state, your numbness, because He desires to build relationship with you and not just build religion. You can have religion without relationship, but it is difficult to build relationship without religion. Because relationship requires of you some habitual, some consistency, some norms that are required to substantiate the very thing that you call in your relationship. If I love you, if you love me, there ought to be some consistency in how you treat me. Even if you don't always do it the right way, you know you can do better because you know that I deserve that. Relationships require consistency. It requires knowing the recipient and knowing what he or she needs in order to deliver. I then take religious habits or habits to then substantiate or stand on supporting the very thing that I say I love, the same thing that God does with us. He says, I need for you to pray. I need for you to sing songs. I need for you to exhort me. I need for you to hear God's word. I need for you to read it. I need for you to recite it. I need for you to memorize it. I need for you to live it. I need for it to become such a part of your life that you would say, Lord, I present my body as a living sacrifice, holy unto thee, acceptable, blameless. Then his word says, be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. The reason you don't see the indication that someone truly is changing is because they have not changed their minds. I need some help today. You are in desperate need of someone changing for you to make life better for you. But watch out how they change. If they just change for you, then it becomes temporary. But if they change because they know they need to change, it requires a renewal of your thinking. And the reason you can't last as long as you thought you could last was because you changed some of your ways, but not your thought process. Y'all gotta help me. The reason that some go through battles and they come through scarred, but at least they get through, is because they change not only their habit, they change their minds. The mind is a terrible thing to waste. The Bible says, let this mind be in you that is also in Christ Jesus, because it is difficult and because we have the human proclivity to simply resort back to the very thing we felt comfortable with, rather than risking our comfort level to walk in discomfort in order to grow in the presence of a holy God. Am I putting you to sleep? I wish you would tap your neighbor and say, neighbor, you can't last long if you don't really change your mind. If you say you want to be happy, but you do not seek God's direction to find joy, if you seek that you want to be healed, but you keep eating the wrong dietary foods, if you say you want to walk with God, but never talk to God, if you say you want to grow, but keep stunning your growth, if you say you want to be in God's will, but keep resisting the spirit that is trying to bring you into alignment with God's spirit, if you say you want to kill some demons, but keep flirting with the same demons you want to kill, if you say you want a new life, but can't let go of the old life, then what God is saying and what you're saying to God, I want it without any effort. I want it without any change of my mind. I want you to drop it in my lap, because some of us see God as a cosmic bellhop. We ring his bell, we roll our hand over the lamp 3 times and think we're going to get a wish out of the lamp. But Christianity does not work by rubbing a lamp. You actually have to get on your knees, cry a little bit, sweat a little bit, scream a little bit, yell a little bit, sing a little bit, dance a little bit, and then sometimes keep still. Y'all help me get through this sermon today. I didn't want to be this long in the preliminaries, but I really want you to understand that God invites you, but God also requires your participation, your decision-making about life. If I really want to get over something, I don't keep going back to the same pit that held me hostage when I'm trying to get over something that is causing me some grief. I submit to you that a lot of us who talk about being victorious are so inundated, so committed to our victimization, that even when God shows you a rainbow, you still say, I don't see nothing. I'm submitting to you right now that no matter how many times people try to help you, if you have not changed your thought process, you're going to do the same thing in a city you did in the field. No matter where you are, if you don't change your thought process, your divine perspective, you're going to treat her like you treated the last one. If you, oh my God, don't say it. If you don't change some stuff about your life, you're going to treat him like the last man who hurt you and he ain't done nothing to you. You just wounded and bruised and messed all up because you haven't desired to change the very thing you say you want changed. Now, all of this requires the Holy Spirit. Because it's impossible to tame that which has controlled your life for so long unless there is a stronger man who comes in to help you occupy and dominate and take back what the enemy has stolen. I am so thankful and so grateful that I had a daddy in my life. I'm grateful that on yesterday, my grandson fell down, hurt himself, but he got up and he ran to his daddy. Not me, I'm his granddaddy. He ran to his father, Cortland, and Cortland picks him up. It's wonderful to know that when you fall and hurt yourself, where they run to. You got a daddy, you got a father that is able to pick you up. And y'all aren't with me. You got someone who's able to mend your scar, to mend your wound, to hold you close, to kiss you and let you know that it hurts right now. But because you are in the Father's arms, you find some sense of comfort and security. Oh, y'all, I want you to know no matter how many times you've fallen, scarred yourself, hurt yourself, cut yourself, wounded yourself, bleeding out, mind messed up, heart is broken. If you just run to your Father, if you run to him, he'll pick you up and let you know, I got you now. I can't heal it today, but I'm going to put a little Band-Aid on it. I'm going to put a little ointment on it, and it's going to take care of itself, because you know if your body is healthy enough, it'll heal itself. When you are with God, I want you to know that God will bring healing to your mind and to your body. Y'all gotta help me get to my text, y'all. Y'all help me get to my text. You gotta fight for what you say you want in God. You gotta go after it, because the enemy is like a roaring lion, and he is trying to devour your hopes and your future. And all many of us are doing are just sitting back, letting the enemy take from us and not fighting back. At some point, we gotta get to the place of God, I've been with you, I'm being still in you, and being still with God then starts to empower you to face the demons that you've been afraid of. Can I just walk through this sermon? I'm not trying to preach hard today. I want to be able to enjoy family this afternoon without having a throat issue. But I wonder, how is it possible? Can you still the inward rage within you? How can you silence the disruptive demon's chatter in your head? How or can you learn to manage heaviness? How can you keep going when life hurts? How can you, is it possible for you to learn to navigate life's challenges with confidence and grace? Or do I keep faking it till I make it? Does God have a prescription to help us walk through the valley of the shadow of death? Does God have a way, a method, a means to help us handle life when life has dealt us a bad spade's hand? I submit to you, even with a bad spade's hand, you gotta sometimes go bored. Okay, for y'all non-playing, card-playing people who don't know nothing about spades, if you don't have any spades, you can say no, or a good spades player would say, I'm going bored, which means I got four, at least four. I ain't said four, got four. Bored means I'm just trying to make sure I don't get stuck in a rut. Some of y'all are trying to go boss on something when God says it's your bored season. Y'all didn't get that, did you? Just dropped out of the spirit. The Lord is saying you're trying to go boss up on something when God said, all I need for you to do today is just survive the moment. Survive the devil's hits. Survive life's disruptions. Survive life hurts. Survive the pain that others have put you through and what you have put yourself through. Tomorrow, you can go boss on somebody and you can have a wonderful spade's hand, but right now, can you just keep still? Can you just keep still and work with what you have in your hand and on the next hand that's being dealt to you? Because I want you to know the dealer always is going to deal another hand. And God, being El Shaddai, Elohim, is always dealing out because God never runs out of cards. Yeah, y'all sit down. Y'all making me nervous. It's 12:15 already. Is it possible for us to learn ways to navigate life's challenges with confidence and grace? Or is this just for the super saints, super spiritual, tongue-talking, Bible-toting, cross-wearing, gold-plated gold around the neck? Is this just for the clergy? Or can the broken daughter, the broken son also learn how to navigate through life's turmoil? I'm glad you asked the question, because I want you to know it's not just reserved for the clergy. It's not just reserved for the bishop. It's not just reserved for the priest. It's not just reserved for the pastor. God has your name on some stuff. It's reserved for you. What about this moment of stillness? And I'll be out of your way. This moment of stillness, there are some things you learn about stillness. The Lord says, I just need for you to be still and know. Don't just be still and don't learn anything. Being still is active, which means that while I'm being still, which means I can't fix where I am, I can't even fix me, I can't even fix the ones I care about. While I cannot fix today's problem because tomorrow has a solution, I just got to get to tomorrow, but I got to be still today because I don't want to prolong what God has on my tomorrow if I mess up my day. Y'all just missed that. I don't want to prolong what God has for me on tomorrow if I don't handle my today properly. You don't hear me again. I don't want to mess up what's on Tuesday if I don't handle what's right on Sunday. So God is saying, I need for you to be still. I just need for you to be still. Still is not being inactive. Still it involves your willingness, because most of us have a tendency of wanting to fix stuff, correct stuff, make stuff feel better for ourselves. I'm just like you. I want life to be easier for me, but that's not how our realities are. God says, in this world, you're going to have some stuff to get over. In this world, you're going to have some trials. In this world, you're going to have some backbiters. In this world, you're going to have some backstabbers. In this world, you might be all of those. But the stillness of God is powerful, because God says in being still, you're learning to embrace the quietness. And I know it seems difficult for some because we've grown into a culture where we have not only direct TV, we got Cox, we got Pluto, we got so many streaming, we got Hulu, we got what was Netflix, y'all got so many. You get upset because you don't know which one to watch. There are dangers to having too much of anything. Young folk, y'all have more distractions than we had, because in my day we had 3, 10, and 13. And if you use aluminum foil correctly on the antenna, every now and then you could get channel 27. But now you got over 900 stations on direct TV. You got Pluto, you got YouTube TV, all these things that are distracting you and pulling you away from being sound, biblical, and even godly in your lifestyle, because you're watching too many fictitious people to have an ordinary life full of the Holy Spirit. You may not even know what's real versus what's fictitious, because you watch so much unreal stuff on television that you don't have a clue on what's real. You got a good brother in your house, but you're watching too much of the wrong stuff on TV. You can't even appreciate the man you got. Oh, women didn't say nothing then. Brothers, y'all didn't, women, wait a minute. No, okay, if I said this, you're watching too many fake stuff on television that you can't really appreciate the woman you got in your household. Look at that. That's what I mean right there. Look at that. That's what I mean right there. Look at that. No. Brothers, we're going to change this story. That narrative has played out. We're going to stand up and be the men that God wants us to be, and we're going to be the head of our household, and we're going to lead our families, and we're going to make some wrong decisions, but we're going to get back up on our feet, try again, because God is blessing the head of that house. So quickly, as I try to move, and I don't have time to even go through all of the stuff I had, but being still is learning to embrace silence, being able to quiet yourself and not be afraid to quench the voices of your past. And the reason that I'm taking my time is because I need for you to hear it. We shout so much and dance so much because some of us need that. But you go home with your feet tired and your mind the same way it came in. that I gotta beat this devil down. I gotta help you live the rest of your days, weeks, months, and years with the power of God's authority and spirit, where you no longer are a puppet to your emotions, but you know how to overcome your emotions and stand flat-foot and firm that old things are passed away. And behold, if I'm in Christ, new things are coming, and I'm no longer gonna settle with my yesterday's experience. Another aspect of being still is letting go of attachments. Often we cling to material possessions, relationships, or our past experiences, which can create emotional turmoil. I can't enjoy today because I'm still tethered to yesterday. We have some false sense of security or uncontrolled codependency where we are forcing others to do something in order to make us feel valued. But when you know God in a relationship, even when they don't do what is necessary to validate you, you still know who you are and whose you are, built upon not your emotions, but a relationship where he shows you, I am both Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, and everything in between. I'm the ham on your biscuit. I am the jelly on your toast. I am the very one who sits in the middle of everything you got on. I am the turkey between your sliced bread. I am the jam. I'm the bread of life, and I'm the jam too. I'm everything in between and everything on the outside of that. The bringing into agreement with God and letting go of some of our attachments and even letting go of some of our preconceived notions about life. You know, as I get older, there are some things that I'm letting go of. I thought this was the way it had to be. I thought this is the way it was. God said, no, it's the way you thought about it. I even have to let go of some of my habits that I've formed over the years that may not be productive or effective in my current posture in life. And as a person, there are some notions that I had to let go of. Oh man, there are some notions, let me say it again, I'm by myself, y'all right? There are some notions that I had to let go of. There are some preferences that I kept holding on to, and I kept holding on to those preferences, and I became agitated. You know, God is saying you agitated over something you could let go. Okay, y'all didn't get that, did you? Y'all didn't get that. You are agitated because they parked too close to the curb and messed your rims up. At least they weren't hurt. They didn't get injured while parking their car. So we had to learn how to let go of some preferences that aggravate us. Am I by myself? That aggravate us, that annoy us and say, Lord, today it just don't matter, Lord. It just don't matter. I'm making a mountain out of a molehill. I am causing myself anxiety, depression. I am causing myself to be vexed over something that, Lord, it really doesn't matter. But I made it matter to myself, and the Lord says that you are now sabotaging your day. Another moment of being still is letting go of your attachments. Another one is recognizing your need to surrender. I'm closing with this. Recognizing your need to surrender. In our text, he says, be still. And there are other texts throughout God's word that tells us to be still. 2 Chronicles 20 is one of those texts that lets us know. It says, you will not have to fight this battle. You just need to surrender. Look at this word on the screen. Look at it. You do not have to fight this battle, just take up your positions and wait. Y'all help me, because I'm ready to preach this thing. You don't have to fight this battle because you can't win it without me. You have to learn how to surrender, because most of us want to speak on it, to talk to it, to let them know how we feel about what you did or did not do. Some of us want to go to fisticuffs because the only way I can get you to see what I'm saying is to hit you upside your jaw. Some of us want to go to cussing. But God says, be still, just be still and let me work this thing out for you. But I need for you to show up. Not just sit home, not just sit in your comfortable recliner. I need for you to get in your posture of power and prayer, because you will not fight this battle, but you must show up. There's a need for us to surrender to God, to let God know, God, I can't do this, Lord. We want to win so much that we're willing to tear apart our families. We're willing to stand on something that does not really matter to the wealth and health of our families, but yet we don't want to relinquish it because we love being in control. We love doing things our way. We want to prove that we are right and nobody else is right but ourselves. We are so opinionated, we really can't hear anybody else because we really want to tell them, do it my way or the highway. Well, you know, sometimes the highway might be better. Oh, Lord, have mercy, somebody. I gotta close. I do. Are y'all getting anything out of this text today? Because it says here, you don't have to fight the battle. That means surrender. That means stop trying to win it without Him, without God. I know you're smart, I know you're intelligent, but you can't even tell me how the earth was made. I know you're smart, I know you're intelligent, but you can't tell me how God still orchestrates and holds the earth in its rotation. But you're smart. All I'm saying to you, Donald, is that you have to learn how to submit. Because submitting to God in this way means that you are preparing yourself for spiritual warfare. Your surrender must become your battle cry. Your battle cry is how you poise yourself to fight. In 2 Chronicles, it says, you will not have to fight this battle. Just take up your positions and wait. It says, you will see the Lord give you victory. People of Judah and Jerusalem, do not hesitate or be afraid. It says what? Go out to battle, and the Lord will be with you. You don't have to fight, but you gotta go out to battle. You gotta go out and face life's realities. You gotta go out and fight for healing. You gotta go out and fight for your sanity. You gotta go out and battle against everything that oppresses you. You gotta go out to battle as a fierce believer and warrior that God is gonna give me victory if I stand still and watch and wait for Him to do His thing. Because this battle I don't have to fight, because we wrestle not against flesh and blood. So in my closing, being still means surrendering to God, and surrendering becomes my battle cry. Lord, I'm not going to just sit here and not believe in you. I'm going to take up my position, my posture. And what is your position? If the Lord is fighting your battle, then what should your position be? Y'all got to get this. If the Lord is going to win it for you, then what should your position be? Your position should be one that is in prayer. That's my position. I'm coming to the battlefield with my sword in hand. What's the sword? I have a two-edged sword. It's called the Word of God. I'm coming with my breastplate of righteousness on. I'm coming with my helmet of salvation and coming with my loins girt about with truth. I'm coming with my feet with the boots of a marching soldier, knowing that I'm going into war, but the captain of the guard, the captain of my army is going to win this battle for me because God is the most fierce. He is the strongest. He is the one who can conquer armies with the blink of an eye, with the clap of his hands, the thunder roars, with the open of his mouth, the wind blows. God has power. My posture is one of believing in God in prayer. And that's where most of us lose the battle, because we see prayer as being weak. You know why? Because we're so used to being moving and being busy and trying to fix stuff and trying to move stuff around that we don't know God to just be still. You ain't got to do all that moving around because you're tiring yourself out and you ain't going nowhere. You are marching, but you're marching in place. You're walking, but you ain't going nowhere. All you're doing is just boom, 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 but you ain't going nowhere. God is saying, I need for you to understand that when you are still in me, I'm carving out the crooked places and making them straight. When you trust me, I'm bringing down mountains. I'm elevating valleys. When you trust me, I'm going to give you houses you didn't build, vineyards you didn't plant. Some of y'all better go out and fight because your destiny and your promise is in how you posture yourself in God. And in saying all of that, I conclude with this: be still and know. Amen. I'm through. Let's go. Come on. Come on. Now, I really preach better than y'all clapping. That ain't nothing. Y'all, I really preach. God, let me preach better than y'all clapping. Don't do it for me, but y'all should really give God praise that you really just learn some things today. I'll hopefully learn some things today. So neighbor, take your position. Stop fighting the old way and take your position. Bro, man, take your position. No matter what happened in your life, take your rightful position. Girlfriend, sister girl. Take your rightful position. Stand up. Be ye steadfast, unmovable. And no matter what the enemy throws at you, tell the enemy, I'm not going nowhere. I'm going to stand right here. You can't make me crazy. You can't make me run. You can't make me hide. Devil, you can't even keep me crying. I'm going to wipe the tears because in the morning, weeping endures for a night, but joy comes in the morning. I dare you to tell those things that are oppressing you, no longer I'm being steadfast, unmovable. I'm abounding in the work of the Lord, knowing that my labor is not in vain. I don't see no results today. I don't see no results today. I'm working hard. I've been halfway decent. I've been trying to do my best. I don't see any results. I don't see God making a way today. I'm still hurting. I'm still crying. I don't see what God is doing. Be ye steadfast. Bible says, be Be not weary. Be not weary in well-doing, for in due season you shall reap if you faint not. I dare you to elbow your neighbor and say, neighbor, don't faint. You ain't got time to faint. You've been through too much already. You've been through too much already. All the hell you've been through, and you're going to faint now? I dare you, but not. I dare you. You better not faint. You better not faint. You better not faint. I know it hurts. I know it's uncomfortable, but you better not faint. I know I've been mean. I know it's been hard, but you better not quit. I know the devil is on your trail. I know it brutalizes you. I know it hurts. I know it hurts. I know it hurts, but you better not quit. I know you're going to the doctor week after week after week after week, but you better not quit. You better not quit. You better not give up. I know they say you ain't gonna make it, but you better not quit. You better not